Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. A slightly different journal flip through and a share with you today. What I thought I would show you is the very first ever junk journal I made, and it is part of a Christmas tradition here in our household. I know everybody has their own Christmas traditions, like putting up the tree and having stockings and a favourite meal on Christmas Day. But here in our household, we have a couple of our own private Christmas traditions. And one of them is to actually make something for each other, in addition to the presents that we buy for each other. And over the years, my partner has been so supportive of me that I have always included in my makes a journal. And we now make 4 gifts for each other each year at Christmas time. And it's kind of spread to our friends as well. So we actually make as well as buy for several of our very closest friends. And it really is fascinating to see what we've all managed to make, or what ideas we've come up with for Christmas makes each year. And it actually gets to be very good fun, and we have a huge laugh when we get together and we open our presents and our Christmas makes. And as I said, I always now have to do a journal each year for my partner. And this was the very first junk journal I ever made. And please be gentle with me, because there are 1,000,001 things I would certainly do differently now, making a junk journal. But it was early days, and a very, well, no, not a steep learning curve, a fun learning curve. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the journal. She is 8.5 by 5.5. It was a repurposed book, and I think you've seen this paper before if you've seen my videos. This was some paper that I bought in Italy several years ago and fell in love with, in a town called Lecce. I think that's how you pronounce it. So I used it to cover the book. The layering here is brown paper, some handmade paper which I've tea stained. This gorgeous parchment on the front is what is left of my title deeds when I bought my house and paid off my mortgage. Then I got my old title deeds. I think I've mentioned that before. And rather than just waste them or just throw them in a drawer, I decided to repurpose them for my projects, and I've used a lot of the original indentures and conveyances in this journal, hence the name Indenture, as my partner has a love for calligraphy and books, as I do. There's a little bit of lace on the front, some Irish linen, this lovely ornate metal book plate, and then I just computer generated the word indenture on a little bit of card and put it inside the plate. There are 5 signatures, and as you can see, it's all very raggedy. This was my efforts at bookbinding, so I didn't know about hollow back spines in those days. So well, 2.5 years ago, I didn't know that how to do it, so I just did it the best way I knew how at the time. She is very alligator mouthed and she has a chain with a lobster clasp and 2 eyelets front of back to make sure that she stays closed. There are 4 charms hanging from the chain, which I'm not sure I'm going to be able to show you. There is a tiny, tiny little key. There is an open book. There is a feather. And there is a closed book. And these all have personal meanings to my partner and I. Excuse me, still a little bit croaky here, so I hope I can get through this without my voice croaking or breaking into a cough. Inside the book, same paper, There's a glassine envelope which I've layered on some stitched tea stained paper. There are various examples of calligraphy practice papers which I've used inside here. There's some lace, a sari rose, a little tab and another little book charm. And this is a faux library card inside with some more practice paper on calligraphy practice paper on the back. Excuse me. There is a collage tab tag here that flips out, so remnant rubs, a silk rose, lace, more sari roses. Then it's backed with book page, it's stamped, inked. This is a tag that's tied on, and the little tag itself is also stitched. If I hold that up to the camera, I can get it in focus. That's also stitched, tucked away behind there. There's some more indenture paper with some lace at the side. Here I've made a corner tuck pocket with some book page which is doubled up and stitched, some more indenture paper and some lace. And I'm hovering this in the pocket to show you it's a corner tuck. Stupid. But anyway, it's a corner tuck. And some more indenture paper at the top. And you can use that. Here we go again. I'm doing it again. You can use that as a top tuck spot if you wish. So that just flips closed. On this side, all the pages are stitched and there's various stamping throughout. There's an indenture paper pocket with some lace and a tab, more lace with a button. There is a little tiny tag with some stamping on it, and inside here, again with more lace and a bit of gauze at the top there. Don't know if you can pick that up. I've just made a little note card, a notebook with a few pages. They've all been stamped at the bottom and it's all coffee stained, whether it's ledger paper or copier paper. Excuse me. That goes back in that pocket there, and it's a magnetised pocket as well. Here we have a Ranger's jumbo tag, and you can see how I was seriously into quite grungy coffee and tea staining. I cut an oval in the tag, the giant tag, and I sandwiched between two pieces of inked vellum, which I stitched to the page, a pen nib, which I think you could probably, yeah, there you go, you can make that out. And then there's just a little collage here with some lace and another little tab. Here I did some stamping on some parchment, stitched around the edge, inked it and used some wax to create a faux wax seal. On the reverse, more stamping. I put a feather in here to try and replicate a quill, and then this word is laid up on some coffee stained Irish linen which just says Chronicle. Here, this is an old vintage music page, but I've covered it in vellum to protect it. There is a pocket at the bottom here, and then just some practice paper. This is something I printed off the internet, and I just stuck a feather on there because I just thought that was lovely. Gives the it's almost an extension to the quill, and I just inked and coffee stained that. I've done a lot of that inside this journal. As you can see, that's the back of the music paper. I put a vellum pocket here with double layer of lace, and then another one of these tie-on tags with some more lace. Seriously went overboard with lace on this one, and it's tied with just some French linen thread there. There's another one of these practice sheets, but I've kind of made it into a little flip up. This is a little envelope I made. Again, another wax seal and more of the calligraphy practice sheet. And again, I just copied these off, printed them off the internet from the public domain. Here I've created with a book page, a double book page. I've just created a double pocket. So there's corner pockets on either side, some little tags here, calligraphy tags that I've cut out for my page ends. And that's just another little stitched journaling card. Some more practice paper. And then in this pocket, this is an actual vintage receipt dating back to 1869, as you can see. And I just folded it up and tucked it into itself really well. There we go. And there are quite a few vintage receipts in this book that I wanted to keep for my partner. So that just folds down and tucks inside itself and back in that pocket. This is a little book page envelope that I made from my favourite book, Brideshead Revisited, and I just covered it with some lace. It is magnetised, and then inside here there is another vintage receipt. This one's 1899, and it's a receipt for £100, 10 shillings and 7 pence. And then these are the stamped receipts to show that the money that was lent has been paid back. Aren't those beautiful? But look at the writing, it's stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. So that fits inside that little envelope there. And I didn't have to do any staining on that little pocket because the book is, that edition of Brideshead Revisited is so old and well read that it's all falling to bits. And I magnetised the pocket as well. Some more music paper here, made into a tuck spot, edged with lace. And this is a vintage postcard of Charlotte Bronte. And if you've seen my banner to my YouTube channel, you'll see her picture. Oh, and also this book on that banner. But I love that postcard. So it had to go in there so it would be kept and treasured. Another stitched journaling card held in place with a Tim Holtz paperclip. The other side of that big jumbo tag, and this is a vellum and lace pocket here, and another journaling card, again held in place and just tucked under there, held in place with a paper clip, and I just tuck it under there as well. Another pocket here, this time a vellum pocket, laced edge with a metal corner, a decorative corner put on there. And then this is another one of those little book page envelopes. I don't think there's anything in this one. No, nothing in that one. And it's got a bit of Ranger washi tape on the back. And then it just goes in that little pocket when the lace doesn't catch, which it is doing now. There we go. And it just hides behind the vellum there. A little bit of washi, a little bit of stamping here. Pages stitched. Here I've just put some practice paper, layered it onto some vellum on this ledger paper, inked around the edges and just stitched across the middle. Another pocket down here. This was a white paper bag that I just chopped the bottom off, edged with some lace, and more of that indenture paper, and it says the common seal of. So that's the bit that goes at the bottom of the conveyance. Another one of the little mini tags that I've made with some lace. This is a vintage mother of pearl button, but it's in like a little star shape. And then this is some crochet cotton that I've just threaded through it. Here I've got a little vellum faux letter that I printed out and just folded it up to make it look like a letter. Here you've got some little ledger paper, which is a little journaling spot, and it just folds right out. Nothing on it apart from that flip of some pen nibs, and it just folds back, and that goes over there. Here across the corner, this is a bookmark that I made, and it's made out of book pages edged with some lace, and it just goes across the corner on your book page, and I can get it to go in there, and it just sits there. And then the idea is when you go to your next page, you pop it over the corner of your next page that you want to bookmark. Here I've used the paper from the cover to create a pocket. I've just laid up some brown paper, some muslin, some linen, and some vellum. Sorry, my words aren't coming today. And inside is another practice journaling card with a little bit of ribbon on it. A little bit of lace with some more ledger paper at the top. Here a bowl pin, some ledger paper, not ledger paper, indenture paper, and some lace, and another little book charm. More ledger paper. Here we have a quote: fear of running out of reading material, a bibliophile, a bibliophobia. Sorry, I couldn't read my own writing, my own printing there. And then that's just all laid up on some, again, Irish linen, some vellum, book page, tea stain paper. Another pocket here, again edged with some lace. Another journaling card. And this is an old book cover that I reduced down just to make it into a little notebook, which I've just stitched down the middle of that. This is a big pocket that I made using some of the indenture paper, and this is a vintage letter that I have, and it was written in 1927. Yeah, there we go. 1927 to Marjorie. I just thought this was unusual handwriting. I've never seen anything quite like it. But it's a lovely letter that I came across, and the writer of this letter included this photograph of herself and her husband and her son in it, and I just thought that was lovely. I came across that at an old antique shop and couldn't resist it, so that just sits in here. This is the original ribbon and seal to the indenture, and then another little tiny journaling card there, which goes in that pocket. There's another journaling card there. This is, if you've been to my Etsy shop, you might have seen these. This is a decorated paperclip. Another journaling card with a bit of lace on the top, and here I've just put a feather in there because I thought it looked a bit like a quill, and it actually says that on the little piece of paper inside, and then that just slips onto the page like so, and I can get it over the stitching. There we go. On this side we have a pocket with a lovely piece of poetry. I've just put a card on the back and I've covered it over with some vellum. I don't know why I covered it over with vellum, but I obviously felt the need to at the time. And then that journaling card just goes over the top of that. This was an old genuine glassine bag that I came across, and I just loved it, so I just included that in the journal. Brown paper bag with some more prose on about a book. And inside, oh, this is an origami envelope, and I just made a belly band for it. Let me take the belly band off and laid up various hearts that I cut out. Put a little bit of a lace daisy on the top and a vintage button and some twine. So that's just made out of book pages. And then this is the origami envelope with some tabs, and you just pull it out and your letter would be contained inside there. I quite often use these for little seed boxes, but if anybody's interested, I can easily show you how to make one of those if you fancy making one of those. Here we have a little tuck up here, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce that word. I did appallingly last time, so best of British for trying to pronounce that word, but it's the noun for a person who reads in bed, which is what my partner and I do all the time. So I thought that was appropriate. Another one of those little tags with a fluff of lace on it, and it's just held in place with another one of those great little tiny Tim Holtz paper clips. When I can get it to go on the page, there we go. Here is just a little white bag, and inside a little bit of stamping on it. Inside I made a little book. This is some French script that I stamped on it, stitched around the outside, and this is really thick. I used several coats of Ranger Matte Medium to seal that, and it's done a really good job. There's a little vellum pocket inside with a little tiny tag, and then just some tea stained paper, some more vellum, some book pages, and a couple more tiny tags tucked in this vellum pocket at the back, and some more lace edging here. And this is the other side to the brown paper bag with another journaling card with some stamping, more stitching. I must have spent hours stitching this. Another one of those faux paper clips, and some more stamping, and then this is another journaling card that I found on YouTube. What's happening over the page? Oh, I see. Let's just take that away. At the bottom here, I've just stitched on a little quote. Today I'd like to sit and read, forget I never had a job I need, ignore the things I have to do, and just enjoy a book or two. I love that. And then I did a little heart to the threads at the end of my stitching. And on the other side of this paper clip, there is a tea bag which I've laid up with some brown paper, some muslin, coffee stained paper, and stamped on the back, and another little heart on the end of my threads. So that just slips on there. And I'm not quite sure why that piece of vellum was tucked in there. Maybe it was to protect it, I don't know. Anyway, I'll just pop it back in there. There was obviously a great reason for doing that. There we go. And then the quote here, the noun here on this piece of paper is bibliophile, a lover of books, one who loves to read, admire and collect books, which is certainly what my partner does. Another corner tuck spot using the indenture paper, a little bit of stamping at the top, and another tag that I did layered up with all sorts of fabric, those roses, little tabs, a little feather. I was into feathers at the time, obviously, and lace and book pages and washi tape. It's all been stitched and inked. More vellum at the back and some Ranger washi, but look how soft it is. It's just, I obviously just used 2 sheets of book page, so you couldn't really call it a tag because it's very, very soft, but and flexible, but never mind. Over the page there's a corner tuck, all layered up again with ribbon and brown paper and stitching. There's another journaling card there, stitched and inked. And then there's a tag that I've made using the indenture paper. So that's the first signature. Or is that the first signature? No, that's the third one. Blimey. A vellum page there. Just some tea stained paper there. Bottom pocket there. Here I've got a first day cover. This is 1986, this one. There's no particular significance to this other than I like the heraldic shield that was there. Some more stamping on the back of the page. Here I've made a little pocket and a little envelope, and I've done a bit of stamping on this ticket, and there's a wax seal on that. Lace side pocket. Here I've used some conveyancing paper. So as time progressed, people moved off parchment paper and they moved on to normal stiff conveyancing paper for legal title deeds. But again, look at the lovely calligraphy. It is hereby agreed and declared, A, that all walls and fences dividing the property hereby conveyed from the adjoining property of the vendor shall be partially, and it means partially maintained. So it meant that any dividing walls you maintain together. Little lace edging there, some more lace there, and some little tabs to my threads there. More practice paper layered on some vellum. Another book page pocket on a belly band, but at the side of the page. And this one I've covered all in lace, magnetised, and nothing inside this one, I'm afraid. But it's amazing. This is a lot more sturdy than that actual tag was. I obviously used thicker and better quality paper, and that just flips over there and the magnets hold it shut. Another of the first day covers. This would have been because of the quill on that. And here's just an image of some dip pens. Excuse me. This is a vintage postcard, and I love this because firstly it came from Brussels, and I think it was 1905 this one was, and this is all beautifully embossed, heat embossed and embossed powder, but it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and it's written to Dear Lizzie and it's love from, I think it says Grandma there. Then there was just this envelope. This was a contemporary envelope, but I just liked it, and I included it in because there was a card inside and I thought it could act as a journaling spot, but I didn't do anything with it. I didn't ink it or anything. I just thought it was nice to include it inside the journal. So pop the paper clip back on that one. This is a another faux letter that I've done and folded it up and had a practice with making seals. I think I can do them a little bit better now. This is the header to the indenture paper, so you can see how it was all scalloped across the top. And then there's another piece of poetry in there with some beautiful handwriting, and all different types of pen nibs on the back here. And some more here, little paper bag there, and some more journaling cards there. And I've edged this with some lace and some more of the indenture paper there. Another journaling card at the top here. And another first day cover. Isn't that gorgeous? That's lovely. And this is 1984, this one. And then it just goes inside that lace pocket. And I love this G Pure lace. It's really rich and sumptuous. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. A book page. Oh, got a pocket in here. Forgot about that one. And another one of those little journaling cards. And some more beautiful font there. I really am obsessed with calligraphy. I just never seem to have time to sit down and practice it so that I can become anywhere near competent with it, but I really would. It's one of those things, if you had your life again, it would be one of the things that I would take time to learn. So that's another journaling card there. It's obviously come astray from up at the top. And as you can tell, because I didn't do a hollow back binding on this book, she does not lie flat. She's a bit of a chunky monkey. This is also from the indenture paper, the actual top of the seal. It's beautiful. And then this is just a little journaling card that sits inside that pocket. Just love the scallop on that pocket. This is some ledger paper stuck to brown paper, and I've just made a little notebook here. Again, more of the indenture paper, the year first before written, and this is magnetised, so it just sits on that page there when I can find the magnets. Where are we? There we go. This is the conveyance, and you can see these are the Inland Revenue seals for the money that you pay to the Inland Revenue when you complete a conveyance. And these are beautiful. These are, you might not be able to tell, but they're embossed, so they feel lovely. I created a vellum pocket because I didn't want to lose the calligraphy on this paper. Just thought it was lovely, but I wanted to include that little journaling card. Then there's a little pocket here with some more lace, usual thing, so that you can either pop it in behind the lace if you want to, or you can put it in behind the conveyancing paper. Here at the centre, I'm going to put that mouse underneath there. I've made two pockets, and there's another very old grungy journaling card there in that one. And I don't think there's anything in this one. No, there's nothing in that one. But this was a letter that I found dated 1911, which is an acknowledgement of somebody's wedding announcement, and I just thought it was lovely. Again, the penmanship is fantastic, and I just like this comment here: hoping you are well and that your joys may be many and your troubles little ones. I thought that was lovely. That amused me. Over the page we've got a tuck spot there with another journaling card, and then this opens out and there's another tuck spot at the side there, and there's another one under here if I wanted to use it. Over the page, another journaling card, nothing on the back of this one. Here we have slightly unusual arrangement. First of all, you lift the lace off, and then you can get access to this page, which is some brown paper which I've edged or put a hem in so that it has a bit more strength. And then there is a journaling card that I've stamped and sewn and just used a paper clip, as you can see. And then you turn over the page, excuse me, and there is some ledger paper, and I've made kind of a little notebook here, just a couple of pages. And you can either close the lace, which is edged on that page like so, or, and which is how I prefer to do it, you can put the lace over that page so that you can get a better show of the design of the lace. Either way, it's just how I prefer to do it. And here we have vellum sheet over the top of some practice paper, and it's just a little flip up. Love how this has turned out. I was definitely more into the grunginess of tea dyeing and coffee dyeing when I first started out, because I don't do it at all like that now. And then finally here is a little tuck spot in there with some more of the conveyancing paper. And then I like this little quote. It said, "Handle them carefully, for words have more power than atom bombs." And then it's just finding your right words, or the right words. And I just thought that was very, very interesting, that little snippet, so I've included it in that. And then there's an Ex Libris card on the back. So as you can see, she's quite chunky. Excuse me for sniffing. She does need her lobster clasp and her chain to hold her closed. As I say, there's loads of things I would do differently now if I was making this journal, but when I first made her I was very proud of her and I thought I would just share her with you, as she was my very first junk journal. So there you go, everybody. If you are interested in seeing the journal that I've made this year for my partner, then I'm happy to show it. Let me know if you are interested, and I will do a show and tell after Christmas, after it's been received, so it doesn't give the game away. And there we go. There we have it. I hope you enjoyed the flip through and are having a lovely, lovely holiday season, everybody. Take care, and thank you so much for bearing with me and watching. Take care. Bye bye now.